In 2023 alone, I made over $10 million with Airbnb Arbitrage. Okay, now hold up. Before we get into the money, there's one thing I have to say. 2023 was an insane year for anyone who took advantage of it. While everyone was screaming Airbnb bust in every single news and media outlet and everyone was quitting the business, my team and I were scooping up as many properties as I possibly could, which led me to scale my business to over 400 units. In this video, I'm gonna pull back the curtain and tell you about my costs, my revenue, my profits, and exactly what I've done to maintain a high profit margin year-round. I worked as an electrical engineer at the Philadelphia airport from 2019 all the way to when I quit, which was December of 2021. During that entire time period, I literally hated my life every single day that I had to drive into work. I had to figure out what can I do to escape this slavery and figure out how I can build a passive income business. In October of 2020, I told my wife, let's start an Airbnb arbitrage business, help me with this, and we'll see what can come out of it. And eventually it led to 400 units, making over $1 million a month. So let me take y'all back to the very beginning and tell you about some key milestones and exactly what I reached during my first couple years in business. So by December of 2021, my first full year in business, I scaled my company all the way to 50 arbitrage units, doing almost 140 to 150K in revenue per month. Then a year later, by December of 2022, I had almost 200 Airbnb arbitrage units. Now comes January of 2023, everyone's screaming Airbnb bust, everyone's losing money, including myself, but I decided this is a temporary situation in the market. Let me keep growing and expanding and picking up over leftover companies that are dying, that are going bankrupt. That way I can keep expanding and growing my business. By doing so, from 2023 January to now, January of 2024, I have almost 450 units under my portfolio. Just today, I had 24 units start in Ohio, and 2 weeks from now, I have 50 more units starting in Pennsylvania. By the end of next month, I'll be at least 550. Here's a breakdown of all my expenses and profits per month for the year of 2023 in detail. January of 2023, I had 186 live active units. My total revenue was $341,000, but my expenses was $391,000. My ADR was $78.84. I had an occupancy rate of 74%, and I had a total loss of $57,000. Just from 2022 of November to January of 2023, I lost a total of $250,000. That's partly due to my own fault because my pricing strategy at that time wasn't taking into account market conditions. I'll talk about this later as we move on through the video because this winter is completely different than last. February, I had 186 live active units, which did $373,000 in total revenue. My expenses was $370,000. My ADR was $84.41 and my occupancy was 86%. My total profit was $2,700. So I basically just broke even. In March, I had 210 units. I had $500,000 in revenue, but my expenses were $479,000. My ADR was 105 and my occupancy was 76%. My total profit was $22,000. Again, a very low profitable month, which should have been profitable in the first place, but because of my own fault with pricing strategy, it wasn't as great as I thought it'd be. In April, I had 228 units. They did $590,000 in revenue. My total expenses was $567,000. My ADR was $106 at an occupancy of 78.7%. Again, my total profit was $22,000, which in my books is another month of just breaking even. May is when things actually started turning around because one, the quality of my units started getting a little bit better. And on top of that, my pricing strategy I finally figured out and started implementing. In May, I had a total of 241 units. I had a revenue of $795,000. My total expenses was $600,000. My ADR was $127 with an occupancy of 81%. My total profit for the month was around $200,000 in net profit. In June, I had 252 live active units. My revenue was $850,000. My expenses was $690,000. I had an ADR of $129 at an 81% occupancy. My total profit was $150,000. This is now where the story actually takes a turn. You'd think that because I'm going to July, August, and September, my peak months, I'd actually be making more in profit. I made more in revenue, but my profit unfortunately went down because what I realized was that in the majority of my cities, most of my cleaning staff that I hire hourly were stealing from me. Originally, I hired cleaning staff at $14 to $15 per hour. At 100 units and even 200 units, it's pretty manageable. But the minute you scale past 200, it's very hard to keep track of who's actually working how many hours, to make sure they're being proficient as possible, and just to make sure no one's actually stealing money from you, burning time on the clock, and clocking in more hours than they actually should be. In In July, I made a total of $800,000 in revenue. My expenses was $690,000, but my cleaning costs for some reason were a lot higher than last month. And that was the first month I started tipping everything off for me. I still made over $100,000 in profit, but still I knew something had to be fixed. I spent the next 2 months flying to every city, firing every single team that I had, and making sure I'd hire brand new, but this time not paying per hour, paying per unit. And it took a long 2 months, but finally I rebuilt my entire cleaning organization from scratch. Now I have cities where I pay $14 to clean a studio, $20 to clean a 1-bedroom, and $25 to clean a 2-bedroom. This way, no matter how long it takes you, you're getting paid a flat fee. It incentivizes workers to clean faster, to do a good job, and to make sure they're not burning time on the clock. So in August, I had 286 live units, but I only made $110,000 in profit. In September, I had 304 units and did $960,000 in revenue. My expenses was $800,000. I had a total profit of $150,000. This was my last month of having cleaners steal from me. Starting October was a brand new month, brand new cleaners, brand new pay structure, and my margins shot up like crazy. And also at this time, a lot of the leases that I started with 2-3 years ago were coming to an end. Those leases I no longer continued and only expanded my business into luxury, high-end, high-class properties. So October, I had 338 live active units. My total revenue was $1.25 million. My total expenses was $900,000. I had a profit of over $350,000 in pure net profit for the month of October. Here's the crazy part. November, I did $1.2 million in revenue. My expenses were $1 million, and this was with 370 live active units. I had a profit of over $200,000 in net profit for the month of November, and finally December, one of my worst months out of the entire year. Last year of 2022, I lost almost $100,000 in the month of December alone. 2023, I finished off December with $100,000 in pure profit. I had $1.05 million in revenue and $950,000 in total expenses. So my business has completely changed just over the span of the last few months because I realized two main things. Number one, getting rid of all my economy, value, budget-friendly Airbnb units was a key part of increasing my overall margin because the luxury high-end units that I now have make a lot more in revenue. And second of all, I realized who was stealing from me and fired every single person possible. About a total of 50 to 60 people that had to go. Rehired, trained, brand new people at even a lower cost and made sure I can increase my profit margins even more. If I don't expand and don't grow whatsoever and just chill out, relax with my 500 units, those 500 units are all A-class luxury units that should make me at the very minimum $20 million for 2024. And my profit margin at the very minimum would be at least $4 to $5 million in personal take-home income. I was just at an Airbnb conference and I was talking to bigger arbitrage players bigger than I am that have 600 units, 700 units. Their profit margins for doing $20-30 million a year is around 10%. I'm already doing 20 to 25% with my current setup. I think I should be able to get to at least 30, if not 35% of net profit margins now that I plugged all the holes in my entire business, made my units a lot nicer, got better higher end units, luxury units, and decreased my housekeeping costs, which is the biggest variable expense. That's the end of this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Also, if you're interested in working directly with me one-on-one, click the link in the description below where I guarantee if you don't get your first unit within 6 weeks, I'll work with you directly until you do. As always, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos related to Airbnb arbitrage. See you guys in the next one.